It is 9 o'clock on the West Coast. So we're going to kick this meetup off and get started for today. So welcome everyone to the Thursday, April 16th edition of the Vancouver Power BI and Modern Excel user group. We've got Juliana Smith is going to be with us today, but before we let Juliana have our stage, we're going to do our normal here. So want to show a big thanks to the sponsors that make this happen. SkillWave Training is my company where we train you how to be awesome at Excel and Power BI. Excel Guru is the parent company of SkillWave and also the creator and distributor of my Monkey Tools add-in, which will help you build better models faster in Excel. Our next meetup's coming up here on May 7th. We are completing the Unpivot podcast lineup. We've got Mark Proctor is going to be joining us to talk about blank values in Excel. Note that we will not be doing a Power BI meetup next month. The reason for this is because in the Power BI meetup, I'm actually going to be in London for the Global Excel Summit there. So we're going to skip that one, but we will be having Richard Nero is going to be coming and joining us on June 4th. I'm still waiting to get his topic nailed down exactly to what it needs to be on this one. He's got his stuff that he's working on behind the scenes, so we'll get that announced as soon as we have it. But there's a couple of great meetups that are going to be coming to us here. It's a British invasion on the show lately here. This is crazy. So there we go. One cool thing here, I don't know if how many of you have taken my training or used my Monkey Tools add-in, but I'm super pleased to be announced that I've actually been nominated as a finalist in 2 categories of the Global Excel Awards this year. I would love to get your votes if at all possible on this. I'm open for Training Provider of the Year for myself, as well as Monkey Tools for the second year running has now been nominated as Excel add-in of the year. You can see the link to vote for that here at mkyt.ca/vote 2026. Be a huge honor to win either of these awards. Yeah, so thanks for your consideration. As far as Monkey Tools go, if you haven't heard of Monkey Tools, you haven't worked with it yet, we have a free course at SkillWave on this one. It's about 5.5 hours long, and it teaches you all of the cool things that Monkey Tools can do, what's available for free, what's not. Highly recommend checking this out. I know a lot of people who are Monkey Tools users have spent some time working with this as well and learned a bunch of new things here. Great program, does lots of cool things. You should definitely check this out. I just want to announce again quickly that we have a new product, a relatively new product in our SkillWave catalog, which is the Ask Ken Anything subscription. It is not tied to a specific course here, but it actually gives you access to come to our Ask Ken Anything sessions. We do these twice a month. They're 2-hour live Teams calls. You can submit your questions in advance, so you don't even have to be there to get them answered. We're just talking about this before the show aired here. It's a great community of people. We have a lot of fun in these things. And so far, based on what I heard back from Mark, I think I'm still batting 100 or 1,000 for not actually having anybody stump me 100% on these ones yet, which is great. All kinds of good stuff in these. So if you're interested in just getting a little bit of a hand up or some sanity checking on different things, check out this product. It's a lot of fun and you'll learn a ton. It's great. As far as official courses go, our Excel Fundamentals Academy, if you've got yourself or someone in your team that wants to bone up and take yourself from a beginner to a solid intermediate in Excel using data visualization, Power Query, pivot tables, and formulas, this is a great product that will get you through a nice curated set of training videos. It is also back-ended by our live Ask Ken Anything sessions that's included here. So great product to get you up to, like I say, a solid intermediate. If you already feel you can master those skills, our premier training product is our self-service BI Academy. Includes the Ask Ken Anything sessions, a license for Monkey Tools add-in, copies of my books, all kinds of stuff, and a huge amount of training products here. You should definitely check that out. All right, getting close to the end of my bit here. This meetup, as are all meetups, will be recorded and is on the YouTube channel at our SkillWave YouTube channel. We will post about this as soon as it's live. You will get notified about it in the meetup channel. So if you've RSVP'd for the meetup, you get a notification there. Of course, if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll be notified about that first when it goes live. So watch out for that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And my penultimate slide here is if you would like to come and speak at our user group, we are always looking for new speakers here. Fill out this little survey. We'll get in touch with you. We're always interested in new content on Excel, on Power BI, on anything that sort of integrates into the Power Platform stack. We're always looking for new content. So we'd love to have you on our stage. Fill out the form, get in touch with us, or rather, we'll get in touch with you and we'll get you on our stage. And on that note, that's my bit done for today. I am now super happy to welcome Juliana Smith to talk about Power BI for everyone. We're going to look at practical accessibility in action. Juliana, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. just to let you know, my son is at home. So if you see someone popping behind me, that's fine. He's going to walk away. He loves video calls.
For me,
So
it's my cats.
when I finish this section, I have an accessibility checklist I'm going to put in the chat so you can use as well. Well, I'm not going to put it out because it may get distracted. So let me share my screen. And as you can all see now, in presentation mode.
Yep,
So
we are good.
thanks everybody for joining my session, Power BI for Everyone, Practical Accessibility in Action. I think I haven't met many of you. So my name is Juliana Smith. I'm from Brazil, but I'm based in Manchester, in the UK. And my background is actually physical oceanography. So I started my career in ocean research and data science, and I started coding in Fortran 77. So that kind of gives away my age. Since 2020, I have specialized in Power BI and user interface design, and I currently work with project controls analytics. I have a blog, a YouTube channel, and a GitHub page where I share content on Power BI as well as accessible design. So today's session, we're going to first talk about disabilities. So let's understand what disabilities are. Then we're going to have an introduction to digital accessibility. We're going to talk about accessibility challenges and data visualizations. Then we're going to talk about the Web Content Accessibility Guideline, which is now for short as WCAG. It's WCAG. And then we're going to learn how to integrate WCAG with report design and learn how we can make our content perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. So let's get started. And I'd like to start this session with a personal story. So this is me after having my first of 2 surgeries that I had. I had a surgery in each hand because of a work-related injury. And after that surgery, I ended up with permanent nerve damage in both of my hands. So I lost dexterity, mobility, strength. And I had a career break because I couldn't pass my medical. I was deemed unfit for work. I used to be a navigator. And then I had a career break and I decided to get back to work. And of course, at that time, that's when I moved to Manchester in the UK. There is no ocean here. I couldn't be an oceanographer. And I ended up, I started working in corporate. And that's why I work with Power BI. But when I first started working, they gave me this mouse, which is just a standard mouse that you may say, oh, what's wrong with it? Well, I had a serious issue with that mouse because, as I said, because I've had nerve damage, I lost fine adjustment, so dexterity, fine movements on my hands. So I couldn't use this mouse properly. So whenever I created a Power BI report, I couldn't align my views. I couldn't do final adjustments. And I was absolutely terrified of losing my job because of that. So I hid it for 2 years until I got to a point that I have to speak to someone. And I spoke to my line manager. She's like, why do you take so long to tell us? Because, as your employer, we have to give you the right tools to do your job. And then that's when I changed the mouse. So this mouse here, I used to use it when I was a navigator. So I was already used how to use And then I ordered it and since I started working, so I still have the same mouse. It's here. And it changed a lot my relationship with work. I could design better. I was not scared of losing my job anymore. And I could spend here the entire session telling you the impact they had on me. And I don't think you should be able to fully understand how it feels for me to have these special moves. And the reason I'm telling this is because everything that I'm going to talk about accessibility and disabilities, it is from my own perspective, which may be limited because I don't rely on other accessibility features. So picture sold. If you experience something that I have not mentioned, please let me know. I would like to understand your perspective and what works for you. So let's start now with some. There are over 1 billion people globally living with some form of disability, and this is about 16% of the global population. And disabilities come in various forms. We have permanent disabilities, temporary, and situational disabilities. So Permanent disabilities are long-term, lifelong conditions, and they don't go away. Temporary disabilities are short-term conditions that a person can recover from. And situational disabilities happen because of a specific situation or environment. So it's not a medical condition. So I have here this example. The one on the left is showing a person with one arm. So that would represent a permanent disability. The person that has got an arm injury, that will represent a temporary disability. So that person cannot use that because of an injury, but it will recover from. And then the third person is a parent holding a baby. So the situation that the person is holding a baby it means that they can only use one of their hands. So that is not a medical condition. And as soon as the parent put the baby, I don't know, on a pram, on a cot, or on the floor, they will be able to use the both hands. And I have the other example as well, showing deafness as a permanent disability, and the infection that may impact your hearing can be a temporary disability. And we have someone working in a noisy environment. So the environment, the situation make you feel you may struggle to hear. And there are different types of disabilities. So there are cognitive disabilities, which refers to conditions that affect our mental processes, such as our memory. We have visual disabilities, includes blindness, low vision, and color blindness. There is also auditory disabilities, covering hearing loss and deafness. There are multi-disabilities that involves physical impairments that affect movement, coordination, or dexterity. So when I mentioned that I have a disability, I have a multi-disability. I have lost coordination, dexterity in both of my hands. And we also have speech disability. And as you can see here, some of disabilities may be invisible. So you may not even know that you have a user or a colleague that may have one of these disabilities. And it's quite common for them not to raise their hands to say. So now let's understand what is digital accessibility and why it is so important. So digital accessibility aims to make any digital interface, such websites, apps, or digital experiences usable for everyone. And that means that everyone, regardless of abilities, disabilities, and circumstances, should be able to perceive, understand, navigate, and interact with digital interfaces. And when we make digital products accessible, and that includes your Power BI reports or your dashboards in Excel, doesn't matter. We are also ensuring access to all. So individuals with disabilities will also be able to access important information. We are also promoting inclusivity because we're giving equal opportunities for everyone, and not to mention legal compliance. So there are various regulations around accessibility. So once you when you take this accessibility into your design process, you're going to reduce the risk of lawsuits. And of course, we have enhanced user experience for everybody, because when we design the accessibility, we end up designing interfaces that are more intuitive and easier to navigate. Now, there are various laws and regulations worldwide. I'm going to just list a few of them. In the United States, they have the American with Disabilities Act. In the European Union, they have the European Accessibility Act that had a considerable change in June last year. So from June last year, so June 2025, all the products and services online across the European Union, they have to comply with WCAG. Usually, it used to be just for the government, but now it's all the services. And then here in the UK, we have the Equality Act and the Public Sector Bodies Accessibility Regulations. In Australia, they have the Disability Discrimination. And in Brazil, they have the Brazilian Law of Inclusion for Persons with Disabilities. These are just few examples. I just wanted to pick one for different parts of the world, so you can see that it is quite global. It's not something that I'm coming up today. And now let's understand, in terms of data visualization, what are some of these common accessibility challenges? And I want to start with these example. I'm going to use these dashboards. I could try to create something that was, you could actually show quite a few of these. The first I have here is a cluttered user interface. And this is one of the primary culprits for poor accessibility. So when the this interface, so reports and dashboards, when they are overloaded with too many visuals, icons, text, and multiple elements, it becomes quite overwhelming for our users to process information. And additionally to that, this cluttered interface may also make difficult for screen readers to navigate through these. So don't think that this is just an issue for someone who may have a disability. Sometimes our personal, how we're feeling, if we are in a rush, if we are feeling overwhelmed, tired, distressed, a cluttered user interface will make our life much harder. So think about, that's why when we say that when we design for accessibility, we improve the user experience for everybody. Next, it is inconsistent layout. So when the layout is inconsistent, the users spend extra time and effort to understand the structure of the interface and to locate how to navigate, where is the information that they need when they are navigating their report. And we also have poor alignment. So poor alignment of elements can lead to a disjointed and confusing user experience. It does add clutter to your interface. And misaligned visuals and text and elements make it harder for users to follow the flow of information. Next, big culprit is poor color contrast. So color contrast is extremely important in ensuring that our users can read and understand the content on our interface and our dashboard. And when the contrast between the foreground, which is any text or any elements or data visualization, and the background is not sufficient, it becomes quite hard for users that may have visual impairments, such as color blindness or low vision, to distinguish and interpret information. And again, it goes beyond disability because poor color contrast can also strain the eyes of all our users, and that will lead to fatigue and reduced comprehension. So if you think about maybe someone has a screen that's too bright or the environment light is not appropriate, they will struggle to see information if there is not enough contrast. Next is unreadable text size. So unreadable text size is very important in readability, right? It is very important that people can look to our reports and know what the numbers are saying, knowing what it is saying. And when the text is small, it can be quite challenging for people with visual impairments or those viewing your reports from a smaller screen. I think more and more we consume information on the go. So it may be a small laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone. It'll be very difficult to read and understand your report. And that can lead to frustration and also hinder the ability of our users to interact with the dashboard effectively. Now, the next two challenge is quite difficult to show. This one is incorrect tab order. So not everybody relies on the mouse to navigate a report, whether because they prefer not to use for example, they prefer to use a keyboard or because they have a disability and they cannot use the mouse. And something that is very important for those users that will rely on the keyboard is tab order. When the tab order is not correct, this is how you consume a report. You're going to click tab and you will go through random elements in your report. And if you can see your report, you can see that you click in the wrong place. You're just going to keep tab until you get to, I don't know, your slicer. And if you cannot see your screen, that can make you lose information because you may expect to have your page title on the top, not, I don't know, after tabbing 5-6 times. So tab order is extremely important. And next is no use of alternative text. So alternative text is essential for making visual content accessible for users who rely on screen readers. And when All the non-text elements don't have alternative text. Screen readers cannot convey the information to those users. And this omission can lead to a significant loss of context and understanding. Now that I show you some of these challenges, let's learn about the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines and how we can use these guidelines in our design process. So first, what is WCAG, which stands for Web Content Accessibility Guideline? So these are globally recognized standards, and they were designed to make digital content accessible to people with disabilities. And it was developed by the World Wide Web Consortium. WCAG 2.2 is the most recent version, has been in use since October 2023. And this version has got 13 guidelines across 4 principles, which are known as core. And there are in total 87 success criteria. Although not all these 87 success criteria are applicable for Power BI, because these standards were initially developed for website and software development. They weren't necessarily for data visualization in Power BI. There is already a draft for WCAG 3.0 available on their website, although there is no estimate when that version is going to be enforced. So I mentioned the WCAG has 4 principles known as PAW. What do I mean by that? First, we have P for perceivable. That means that the users can recognize and use services and tools through one or more of their senses. Then we have O for operable, where the user interface components and navigation must be operable using various input methods, including keyboard. Then we have U for understandable, where the interfaces should be easy to read, predictable in behavior, and designed to help users to avoid and recover from errors. And then we have R for robust, where the content must be robust enough to be interpreted in a reliable way by assistive technologies such as screen readers. WCAG also outlines 3 levels of compliance, and these levels of compliance are different degrees of accessibility that digital content should meet. We have level A that addresses the most basic accessibility features, so I'm not going to be talking much about level A. We have level AA that addresses the most common barriers for users, and that aims to make content accessible to a wider range of people. And we have level AAA that addresses the highest level of accessibility, providing the most inclusive experience for users. And that includes those with significant disabilities. In terms of legal compliance, level AA is the most commonly mandated. So if you remember all the regulations that I mentioned at the beginning, all of them require level AA, except from Brazil, that does not specify which level of compliance. Now let's see how we can make our content perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. First, how can we make content perceivable? And I'm going to show you now these texts, and I want you to read it for me. What is the main message of this image, right? I'm not crazy. I'm not going to make you do it. But the reason I'm showing that is because why would we give something like this to our users? They may look at it and they also don't know what to look first. Whereas there is no structure, it is chaotic. If I ask you in 5 seconds what is the main message that this report is conveying, you're going to struggle to answer. And there are a few things that we can do to prevent our reports to look so chaotic. So there is a user interface element, design element. It's called white space. And now white space refers to empty areas between elements. So look something like these arrows here. And it helps to prevent our reports from feeling overwhelming. So it is kind of the remedy when you have a chaotic design. It gives breathing room. Now you may have noted here that moving from the image on the left to the right, there are less elements on the page. And that's something that's really important. It's not because we can fit 20 different visuals in one page that we should. We need to have space So for that reason, we have to learn how to prioritize information and split the content in different tabs if necessary. Now, white space is not specifically mentioned on WCAG, but it has quite a few benefits. So it improves readability, and it makes easier to read and scan text and content. Also, helps with cognitive clarity because you're going to have more space. You're going to have less feeling of overwhelm from your user. Also, helps with navigation, so improves focus and flow, and also touch accessibility. So it makes it easier to interact with control. So if you think you have a button and there is a lot of things around your button, it's going to be very hard to click on your button. There is also the size of how big is your button, right? We shouldn't make buttons too small, but if you have the button the right size and with enough space around it, it's going to be much easier. So sometimes I struggle with my phone when trying to click on things. I just give up. Now, next, this is a WCAG criteria, which is meaningful sequence. So that means that we have to arrange visuals and content in a logical reading order. And we have to avoid placing key visuals in a way that disrupts the natural reading flow. And there is something that is very important that can help us to, let me see if I put this slide in here. Now, there is something that can really help us to organize content in a meaningful way, which is using the naturalist eye scanning pattern. So when we look to a digital interface or a book or anything, we naturally scan the page in different scanning patterns. And we have the S scanning pattern, which is usually more when we read text heavy interface. It could be a blog or a book. We also have this depth scanning pattern that is usually the one that we use when you're reading like a dashboard or anything that's got a hierarchy in it. And this is because at least in the Western countries, we read from the left to the right and from the top to the bottom, which means that if we use these natural scanning patterns, placing the most important element across this path, it means that it will help your users to scale reports more efficiently. So important information would naturally out, and you're going to make it easier. So once we talk about meaningful sequence, think about how you will read a page. You wouldn't go first to the top right, top left, bottom. You just follow a meaningful sequence. And that's what it means. So we will move away from something that's very chaotic. You don't know where to start and where to end, to something that follows a natural reading flow. Next is poor color contrast. Now it's quite common. I scroll through data visualization challenge, and it's more and more common to get a contrast ratio like this. So you have people with very light backgrounds, and they choose really, really light colors to use on the text as well as on the visualizations, or the opposite, really dark background with really dark colors on the top of that. And that, believe me, it's not great. You may think it looks neat and tidy, but we are not designing for ourselves. We're designing for an audience. And the audience, we don't know if they have not only about disability, but may have the screen maybe to write the environment they're looking to your report. So they will struggle. They may struggle to understand. So color contrast, it is very, very important. And the WCAG has a criteria on making content distinguishable. And that means making it easier for users to see and hear content, including separating foreground from background. And the intent of this criterion is to provide enough contrast between your foreground and your background without the use of contrast enhancing assistive technology. So if you have the high contrast mode, you still have to comply with making content distinguishable regardless of the use of that. So here are the thresholds on WCAG. So for body text, which is up to 17 points, or if in bold, up to 13, the contrast ratio should be of 4.5 to 1. Large scale text, which is above 18 points, or if in bold, above 14. The contrast ratio should be 3 to 1. And there is also the non-text contrast. So all the colors that you select to put in your icons and your data visualizations, they need to have a contrast ratio of at least 3:1. Now, level AAA has higher thresholds, although it does not specify the no-text contrast. So I definitely recommend sticking to 3:1. There are some exceptions. So if you have any decorative text, image, logotypes, you don't need to comply with that. But if it conveys important information, you need to make sure you have the color contrast right. Now, there is stuff that I like talking about, even though WCAG does not mention necessarily, which is color blindness. Color blindness is the inability to see the difference between certain colors. And there are approximately 350 million people around the world, so a lot. And the most common type of color blindness is the red-green color blindness, which means that it's very difficult for those individuals to see the difference between those two colors. And in reporting, we love to use red, amber, and green to report on progress and performance. And this is what happens. Imagine I put here a simulation for red and green color blindness. If you have to make decisions based on those simulations. So we should ideally avoid using color only indicator, but that's the next slide. Sorry. And if you're not sure how to calculate your color contrast ratio, if you don't know if the colors you use may cause accessibility issues, I actually have a video on YouTube showing how to use the Adobe accessibility tools. They have a color contrast ratio checker and a color blindness simulator. And I have also recently published on my GitHub a WCAG contrast validation and color suggestion that you can build in a Power BI report. So you're not going to need to jump between your browser and your report, and you can use offline as well. All you need to do is upload all your hex code. So that is an open source code, so you can make use of it. So as I said, that brings you to the other element of making content distinguishable, which is avoid color-only meaning. So don't rely on color alone to convey information. So I have here these two examples. I have a table with a conditional formatting on the font color, and I have a line chart. So what do I mean? If you are using conditional formatting in a table, you can add icons to support people to understand rather than just the color. So in this case, I use the arrows. They have the option to have red, and green. There are gray arrows. You can choose what it means. Just be careful if you use like a circle and a triangle, you still have to explain what those icons mean. And on a line chart, we can always use different line styles. You can add different markers. You can add the series name on the chart. I don't like the option, but that is one of them as well. So what is the other way we can identify different series? Of course, not all the charts in Power BI allow you to do that. So that's why you can use the concept of accessible colors, which are colors that have enough contrast between themselves. So even if they don't see the color as we see, I don't see green as it is green, but even though there is enough contrast to know how there are different colors and what they mean. And the tool that's very useful for that is using the color blindness simulator. Next is font size. Font size, it's something that is very tempting in Power BI because it allows you to use, I think the minimum font size is 8 or 9 points. And because we know often want to cram as many visuals as possible, we often don't have space to increase the font size. And that is the worst you can possibly do. Font size is really important. If you cannot read the data labels, the axes, what is the point in having it? So in terms of WCAG, they have a criteria on resized text. And it is that text has to be resized up to 200% without loss of content or functionality. Now, Power BI doesn't support true responsive text scaling, but we can design using larger font size. So this is an example that for the Canva 16:9 size, not the new one, don't go lower than 12 points. So I put this example here for how you can use font size, and that will also help you to build your hierarchy. Now, before I talk about the next, I like to play this video. Very brief. You can drink some water as well. Now, unless you know a British Sign Language, you will not know what they are talking about. And the reason I'm showing this is because my next, what I'm going to talk about next is very hard to kind of understand the concept because most of us don't rely on screen readers. Text alternative. So if an image including icons, if they convey important information, they must have alternative text to describe its purpose. And when you have a complex image, which is like a data visualization, you have to add enough details so the users that are relying on screen readers can understand what is the image is conveying. Now, how can we add alternative text? All the native visuals in Power BI, they have a box for alternative text. And I put here an example of a precipitation matrix, so how much it rains. This is from Seattle. And I chose this because it is a fairly complex image. How do you think you're going to be able to put that in a alternative text box? So this is not about translating the pixel, right? We don't need to tell every detail of the image. It is, what is the story? And I added here as an example, I just type in the alternative text for that matrix. And when we manually type in the alternative text, there is a limit of 250 characters. Now, the other limitation is you will need to, if the data refreshes, you're going to have to come back every time that it refreshes to update that. And also, if you have slices, you will not filter accordingly. So what else can we do? We can use conditional formatting for our alternative text. So there is the option to add. And so all we have to do is create a measure. Now, I knew exactly how to create the alternative text for the image because my background, I'm an oceanographer. So I know what do we need to know about precipitation, right? So domain knowledge is very important to be able to create meaningful alternative text. Now, if it's not your expertise, that is very important to understand who is your user who relies on screen readers, so you are conveying the right type of insight. The way that I approach creating measures for my alternative text, I usually have quite a few measures already calculated. I speak to Copilot, I type in and say, Copilot, and I measure, let's use this example, max month text. And that means the maximum, whatever. I explain my measure, so I don't tell what my data is. And I explain what is the kind of narrative I need. And that helps me mainly to build my text string with the right formatting, what to fit the values. So when we do that, it will automatically refresh and it will be dynamic. So if you have slices, it will also change the values. And the other benefit is that there are no limits in number of characters. So you can just be careful not to give too much data. We don't want to overwhelm our user. I also did some experiments using user-defined functions to try to kind of automate a little bit alternative text. It is interesting. It's very hard because different visuals, they may require different narratives. But that project is also available on my GitHub. And today there was a post on my blog about the European Accessibility Act and Power BI. What can we do in terms of alternative text? And there is a alternative text checklist. If you need to create your alternative text, what should you look into to make sure that it's meaningful? Now, let's see how we can make content operable. Now it's going to be much quicker, I think, in the report because it is so visual, perceiving, making the content perceivable, it's a lot. But now it's going to be much quicker, don't worry. First of it is keyboard accessibility. So according to WCAG, all interactive elements should be usable via a keyboard navigation. Now, Power BI is compatible by default with keyboard navigation. All the native visuals, they work with keyboard navigation. But there is something that's very important that as developers we have to do, which is we have to set the correct tab order. So the way that you navigate, it has to match the way that your user is intended to consume the report. And something else that the WCAG mentions that I forgot is you cannot have any keyboard trap. So you should be able to get in and out of interactive elements without getting stuck. So you may have a great report. There is nothing wrong with your report, but if you have to navigate your report and it's something like this, it's not going to be great in terms of accessibility. So how should we set it up? Under the selection pane, there is the option tab order. And if you see here, every element starts, if you remember, the meaningful sequence. It has to be the same meaningful sequence. So I expect my user to start my report by reading the title, and then following the scanning pattern, I have then my slicer, and then I have my KPI charts, and it has to follow the order that my user is intended to navigate the report. If you're not sure how to do it, I also have a very short video on YouTube showing how to set up. And something that I learned because of that is we can actually rename these elements here. It makes it much easier. I didn't used to rename until I realized, which one am I talking about? So you can rename that as well, make it easier. Next criteria is bypass blocks. So according to that, users should be able to skip the repetitive content and go directly to the main part of the page or component. And Power BI, again, they have a focus mode, which is by default, all the native visuals. And by clicking on focus mode, it takes that visual to an entire page. So you are temporarily bypassing the surrounding and you can focus on that specific visual. So although we don't need to configure it there by default, it is important to tell our users that option is there for that. Next is headings and labels. It's very common people to start, I'm going to create a clean chart, and it cuts off all the titles, labels, headings, and it's really difficult to sometimes to understand what the chart is about. So headings and labels, they should describe the topic or purpose. And they should be clear, descriptive, and help the users to understand the content or the functionality interface. Next, let's see how we can make content understandable. So let's start with the definition of readability. And I put a different language, so this is Afrikaans, and there is a very good reason. Let me just put in English. You know why putting a different language to scare you. So readability refers to how easily and clearly written content can be understood by its intended audience. And intended audience is very important here, right? So we often, I've seen quite frequently people adding titles that look like a different language. So all the business jargons, the 3-letter acronyms, we write that because we know what those, what it means, but it may look like a different language for people. So we have to make sure that we use plain language and avoid jargons and acronyms so people understand what you're trying to say. So, different levels of seniority. So someone may just join the company, someone starting their career, someone came from different company, they use different naming conventions. We have to make sure as well, not only in terms of accessibility, it is so everybody can understand it. Next is predictable behavior. Now, here in the UK, I just want to make it a bit relatable. Here in the UK, supermarkets love rearranging the shelves. So you go to the supermarket, you used to find your milk in one place. You go there, there's no milk, there's wine, right? And they rearrange everything. That I think it's to force you to buy more. Now, if it's a small supermarket, it's annoying. You're going to just go around, where is it? But if you go into a warehouse, a huge supermarket, it's going to be really, really annoying. And why do we have to make our users feel that frustrated, right? That's why it is really important. Predictable behavior, it's about maintaining consistent layout and interaction patterns across the pages. We should also avoid unexpected changes when interacting with visuals. So the way that you filter your pages, if it changes without any kind of warning, highlights, cross filtering, all that kind of thing, it may cause confusion. It is a change in the behavior. So predictable behavior, it makes it easier for navigate and to use the interface. And that is in terms of where you place your titles, navigation elements, filters, slices, how you organize your page, the type, even the type of font, icons, everything. It has to be consistent. So consistency is key in design. Next, every criteria is the input assistance. So we should provide clear instruction for filters and slices, for example. We often create a report and we assume that people know how to use it, but that's not entirely the case. It can be someone who is scared of breaking the report. They may not know what a slice is for. So a good way of adding some input assistance is through the tooltips. So tooltips are really good to add context without adding clutter. So you don't need to have all these text box on your screen. But they're not great with screen readers. So it's very important to the same information that we put on a hover to make it available on alternative text. Now, finally, let's look at how we can make content robust. Now, in terms of Power BI, it's pretty much about screen reader compatibility. And Power BI is compatible by default. We don't need to do much about it. This is the list of a few screen readers and the level of compatibility. If you have, if you have Windows 11, you're going to have narrator built in by default. And I think it's a very good way to navigate your report with alternative text, with bad alternative text, and with no alternative text. You're going to feel like how difficult it is to make insights. So do the experiment, close your eyes and try to navigate your report. So it's a very good tool. So now I use it when I need to create alternative text. I use that to test it's working with slicer selection as well. In terms of supporting screen readers, we also have to do a few things, right? It's not only about alternative text. So first we have to ensure that every interactive element has a clear name, role, and state. And we have to ensure that state information is conveyed. So when we have a multiple selection slicer, it often will show us multiple selections. So it's not great. So what can we do? Power BI now allows you to add subtitles, and you can create a measure to, for example, add the selected, whatever is the selection on this slicer. Or you can just create another text box and put the information. On my UDF on alternative text, there is one for context, and instead of using it only for alternative text, you can add an icon. So you can hover the icon, for example, and see all these license selections, everything that you have, reporting months or version, whatever you need to. I also did an experiment with reporting narratives. It's also my GitHub, and there is also the side of what is the context of your report. Next, it is specifically when we work with tables and matrices. So you have to ensure that the column headers are descriptive. So instead of adding all these abbreviations and acronyms and everything, try to be as descriptive as possible. Unless it's something that you know that everybody knows what it means. So just make sure to be careful with abbreviations. When we're working with tables specifically, there is something that we have to do, which is assign role name. And that helps screen readers to identify the purpose of each role and define what is the relationship between the data and the labels. So right on the format pane, right at the bottom, there is the option accessibility. And you have to select your role name. It comes as none by default. And the role name has to be something that it's easier to see that you're relating your data. So if there is any ID and codes, avoid it. because you think that, oh yeah, ID 3538, the project is, so no, what is the name of it? It makes it easier for people to understand. Slices. I used to do it a lot. I put my slice without any title or header or anything. I would expect that my user would just click on it. And there are two downfalls that not only for screen readers, but also someone who has never used Power BI. They're going to look at it. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Right. So add a bit of, add a title, select what you're supposed to do with that. That is very, very handy. And to wrap up, improving our report design also means that we create more accessible interfaces. So you focus on accessibility, you focus on making your content perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. You will have a better interface for everybody. And I was once asked, oh, how much as a consultant should I charge for accessibility? And I genuinely think that 99%, you shouldn't charge. It should be built within your design process. Once you have that, it's not about wasting time. You naturally will design with that. You're not even going to consider, oh, yes, I'm wasting time or not. The only aspect that I recommend spending time to understand it is a screen reader. If there is someone who fully relies on screen reader, so you can provide meaningful alternative text. Now I'd like to finish this session watching this video. It's very interesting to how it is to live in a world that was not designed for us. So thanks a lot for watching. I'm now going to open if anyone has any question, and I will put the accessibility checklist on the chat.
Perfect. Thanks, Juliana. All right. Any questions that anybody has, please shoot them into the chat. I think everybody was just sitting back and taking it in. I don't think there was a lot of questions that came along through the day.
Sorry, I cannot put on this chat. So I'm going to send you on your LinkedIn if that's okay. If you could make available.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, just if you like, Juliana, shoot it to Rebecca, and she will get it posted on the meetup site. In the comments there is perfect. So that'd be great. So one comment, Juliana, that I noticed on dealing with alternative text. I've always wondered this, and I don't know what the answer is. Why hasn't that become a focus for AI? Because I mean, that would be such a useful place to actually use AI compared to all of the ridiculous places it's being stuffed for features we don't need. Do you have thoughts on that?
I completely agree. And I presented my session. There was a guy who watched that he relied on screen. He came to speak to me. He said, oh, I think that AI is going to do everything. He was quite enthusiastic about AI. But I think the major issue that organization will have with that, it will be like, oh, these AIs having access to my data, my information. So how can you keep your information safe? But on the same line, why people have not designed a way to make things, oh yeah, let's make it built-in safe so people can use it. And there are similar issues. For example, I have a website and I wanted to have a plugin for accessibility. And the plugins, you have to pay for it, right? Mm-hmm. So I couldn't, and it's my blog. I don't have any income, and I was like, I can't pay for it. And I'm just like, why we are penalizing people who rely on those features, right? Why are people charging? I don't know if it's a big, even if it's selling shops like online, they shouldn't still penalize the user because it's not about who is selling the product, it's who is buying that. So I think
Yeah.
there is the bit, people don't think about it because they think, quite, why you die? I don't need it. So that's why it's really important to have representation across all the high senior people making decisions, because they know what it feels to rely on a screen reader, to
Yeah.
rely on alternative text.
I
And yeah,
guess my feeling with these things is, I mean, from Microsoft's perspective, I mean, if the stuff is important, I mean, there should be something that says, look, when you go to save your Excel file or save your PowerPoint or your Word or your Power BI document, that, if you have the options checked on to say, make it accessible, it should pop up and say, hey, look, we've noticed that your images don't have alt text. Would you like us to go and generate those for you with AI so that you can then go and review them?
that
Would you like the option
PowerPoint
to be able to
can.
dynamically do it? Like,
Yeah.
so PowerPoint does do that? Okay.
No, partially. So
Oh,
PowerPoint, you can do the accessibility check. So it checks
right.
if it fails. It's all even check contrast. If your slide has a title, it checks for alternative text. Just like if you use Canva, also Canva, you have to run the test. I don't know if I've never seen generating meaningful alternative text, because I was pasted and the alternative text they generated was I screenshot from my phone, and it wasn't even close to what it was. So I don't know how things are progressing. I have my blog is on WordPress, and now they have AI to help me. So whenever I'm creating stuff, they actually I can use AI to help me in my
Right.
my website. So Power BI is terrible with accessibility, building accessibility checks, and I think it's something it has to improve. So even for awareness, because if you see the option, that, what does that mean? You may start asking questions, right? What does it have the option for accessibility? What does that mean? Refer, better publicize the documentation. Power BI has documentation on the accessibility features. Um, People don't talk about it. I see conferences. I try to speak about accessibility conferences. The sessions are not accepted. Other sessions are accepted, but these specific about WCAG, about how it can, it's not. It doesn't sell. People
Yeah. No,
naturally have
I hear
rest.
you. I'll give you a funny little anecdote. So Excel also has a compatibility checker for accessibility and whatnot as well. And I remember running it at one point in time, and the first thing that it flagged was the default table style that Excel uses because the colors were not accessible to. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
terrible.
"Fucking
Why?
really?
Why can you just make it the default like something? Right? It's like the minimum.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a lot. That there is a lot of improvement that it can be, with Power BI. And I would say not only Power BI, but data visualization. Because data visualization is that, oh yeah, we have to be able to see it, right?
yeah,
And although we also have to consider, if you have someone who fully relies on a screen reader, what is the best tool for them to understand their reports? Is it a Power BI report? It is a document that someone can curate to give better insights.
yeah.
So it is a much deeper conversation, but I think we have to be aware. If you ask me, do you add alternative text to all your reports? My answer is no. The answer is no, is because I don't think it has to be. I think it has to be very tailored, right? I may not have domain knowledge enough to create alternative text.
And I
I
think that's fair, but I would also say that I think that these programs need to do a better job, right? I mean, because
oh, yeah,
if I'm sitting there and I'm actually trying to do things, and somebody who doesn't necessarily have accessibility issues, it's not something I want to have to think about. And at the end of the day, if the software can be smart enough to take care of those things, to make it more accessible on a global basis without me actually having to spend a ton of focus and effort, because the reality is, if I go back to my client and I say, look, it's going to take me an extra 10 hours to make the report accessible, they're like, I'm not paying for that, And so let's raise the bar. I mean,
Copilot. I heard that Copilot is doing. There was a Microsoft train on accessibility. I did it, and it was specifically about Copilot. So I think Copilot has quite a good features. I don't know if it is a special price that you have to pay to have access to it, because again, I don't rely on it, so it's very very hard for me to say what it should or how better it could be. Because I think my perspective is very limited. It is from someone who doesn't need it. So there are things that are still, asking questions that you're going to still make me think about. But I think AI could definitely improve all the workflows and for everybody, make things easier. And I think that's what AI should also be about, not only creating all these, fake images, fake dashboards. Let's use it for stuff that actually makes an impact.
heck yes. We do have a question here from Casper. It says, so green and red should be avoided from what I understand.
So using red and green together on the same visual, if you try to highlight something, red and green together, it will cause accessibility issues. So what other ways can you distinguish those two colors, right? So can you add a label? Can you add an icon? If not, something that I started using is using blue and orange. So I use like a navy blue for what would be green. I use a lighter blue for what would be yellow, and I use orange for what would be um, red. But you have to add the color meaning, right? You cannot just change the colors and expect people will know. So I put my legend and I put, blue equals poor good performance, bad performance. I don't know. So you can use alternative colors. And actually, my first session of Power BI was about accessibility in color, red, a specific red, amber, and gray. And the way that I did, very quietly in my workplace, I added a toggle button. People start toggling. What does that mean? Because we had a matrix. It was pretty much using red on the gray, and people start toggling. And I asked, why is it different? And actually, the asked to implement a project in the company because people realized that there was that issue. And I thought it's much easier than trying to fight the system, right? Oh yeah, no, we cannot use red on the green. You give a bit of education, you show what it means, and they will naturally be interested. So it is a lot of raising awareness, what it means, right? Show the simulations. People ask me, how can I convince my stakeholders? Show a colorblind simulation. It's shocking. Many people don't even think about it. I had once a colorblind stakeholder. He didn't tell me for 6 months. And I thought that this guy needs to go back to school, right? And he told I'm colorblind. And everything was red on the green. I was just like, oh goodness, 6 months. And this guy looking into my reports and not having a clue. So we end up telling a story that people cannot understand. And, we have to be very careful. And based on my experience, is like people would not raise their hands to say, sorry, can't see the difference, right? Sometimes they will think that everything is okay. Oh no, it's all orange. It's not, it's not red.
Yeah. I think we should see. Anna's actually jumped something into the chat here. 8% of all men have some color disability. And I mean, I think that's, if you actually start thinking about that, Casper, in grander perspectives, if your team is more than 10 people or more than 10 men at any rate, there is a very good chance one person in there has some kind of color deficiency that they're struggling with that they may or may not be telling you about. So should you avoid red, green? I mean, yeah, probably as a rule. And yet everything that we get comes out with those colors. So you got to customize everything. And it's the frustrating part, right? So yeah. Heather Rowe says, one tool I've relied on to check for color blindness is Color Helper by OKViz. Oh yeah, there you go. It's used to be in the App Store, but having trouble finding it this morning, still up on their GitHub. I didn't know that OKViz actually did a color blindness or color helper tool. There you go. That's cool.
I used one of their visuals and actually was on the format pane, actually could do a color blindness simulation. It was the first time.
Oh,
Then
cool.
I was like, that's really good because it is within my visual in Power BI, so I don't need an external tool. Well, that was what a specific visual that I could use it. But yes, I'm gonna be releasing a color blindness simulator for building Power BI on the 21st of May. I'm gonna speak at a conference, and because this is the Global Awareness Day on Accessibility Global Awareness Day on the 21st of May, and I'm going to be available on my GitHub for free, and you can download and run your color blindness simulation in your Power BI report.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. I don't see any other questions coming into the chat. So, Juliana, thanks for coming in back and doing this again. I really appreciate it. Great presentation. Some really good stuff to think about there. Thanks everyone to come in and being part of this as well. Don't forget that we've got a couple of meetups coming up over the next bit. We won't be having a Power BI specific one next month, but we got a couple of Excel ones lined up that should be open for RSVPs. We will get the recording of this posted in the next 24 to 48 hours. And this time there's going to be a recording, which is great. We'll have you back in future, I'm sure. Actually, maybe we can get you back at some point to talk about the new tool. That'd be great. So There you go. Thanks very much again for doing this, Juliana. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Till next time. Bye-bye.
Everybody vote for Ken.
Oh, cheers. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. That's it. Bye-bye now.